The MLB Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by EdgeBoost. Bank of a better. Sign up today. EdgeBoost.bet. Per code SGPN when you sign up to get a free Rest Terrorist t-shirt. Claim your shirt at sportsgambling.com/refs. And welcome, everybody, to the MLB Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. It's currently Monday morning, June 16th, around 10 a.m. Eastern Time. I'm Rose of Reichel, once again going here for the MLB podcast, but I am by myself as Adam is too busy today to join me on the show. So I am going to be going solo, still going to be sharing my three favorite props. Now, I do have good news. Adam did share his props with me via text message, so I am going to relay those to you, but there will be less banter, should be a shorter episode. Point is, we only have one host for the show this time around. Adam should be back on Friday, so we're going to be doing the same thing on Wednesday. I'll be going solo for the prop portion of the MLB show for the next few episodes. But for this episode, going to still keep the show rolling. We have a minimal number of games, have a decent amount of props, though. So I did prepare three props I'm going to share with all of you. Adam, though, did text me his plays. So once again, I will relay those to you as well. Should be fun, though. Looking forward to it. Once again, apologies if you were hoping for both of us. But unfortunately, we had a scheduling conflict. So for the next two iterations of the show, today and Wednesday, Adam will not be joining me. So keep that in mind. Now, before we get into any of the actual props for the game itself or for the games themselves, want to briefly talk about the Devers trade. Feel like we kind of have to do that. I'm sure the guys will be talking about it later on today because I know that Dylan and I did not talk about it yesterday because the trade happened after we actually recorded the show. Like about 20, 30 minutes later, the trade happened. So we couldn't really talk about it. So I'll talk about it now. Kind of a shock as the Red Sox ended up sweeping the Yankees over the weekend. Devers actually homered in the game on Sunday. And the Red Sox said, you know what, we're done. And they immediately traded Devers to San Francisco. They traded him for Kyle Harrison, Jordan Hicks. They got a couple of prospects as well in Tibbs and in Bayo, different Bayo. So at first glance, it looks like a really bad deal for the Red Sox. Now, the counter argument would be the Giants are willing to swallow the entire contract of Devers. And the fact is, after what happened this offseason with Devers refusing to change positions, with him being a bit of a distraction, is the word I'll use, it feels like Boston's front office kind of soured on the prospect of keeping him long term and decided to ship him off as far as possible to California. Now, is it a good return? No. It made me laugh how the first action the Red Sox had after trading Devers was demoting Harrison. That did make me laugh. But I feel like, once again, it seems like a position that the Red Sox kind of felt during the offseason, which was Devers got paid a bunch of money, doesn't want to change positions. He's kind of a distraction, or maybe if you want to view it from an ego perspective, he's selfish. And the Red Sox said, we don't want to pay this guy that much money. So the front office decided to ship him off. Now, that does not excuse how bad the trade package was in return. I think it's an abysmal package. We'll see what happens when it comes to the prospects, because maybe Tibbs and Bayo turn out to be good. But Harrison, I don't think is that great. I'm sure Giants fans would agree he's a pretty average back-end lefty starter. And Hicks was a reliever who got converted to being a starter, who has really not panned out as a starter. He had an ERA north of 6 so far this season, also has been injured, but last year he had an ERA of 4.1. So he had a couple of decent seasons, but as a starter, it has not really panned out. So Boston once again got two pretty underwhelming starters and some prospects for an elite hitting infielder. It's not a great return. As a Yankees fan, I'm thrilled because I don't have to see Devers again. But the point is, I feel like Boston picked a pretty weird time to do the trade as the team was slumping. Then they recently caught fire. They swept the Yankees, and they immediately traded their best player. It feels like a pretty weird stance to take, but it feels like the argument is mainly based on what happened this offseason, not wanting to change positions, really viewing him as a distraction, and you're looking at Red Sox deciding we don't want to pay this guy all the money that he's owed, because he's still owed more than $250 million, and the contract is still going to be happening until 2033. And Boston said, you know what, 8 more years of Devers, we're good. We're going to wipe our hands clean, and we'll let the Giants worry about it. So, yeah, the Red Sox, we saw a trade off Mookie a couple years ago, and that was viewed as a really bad trade. Then, of course, Mookie won a ring with the Dodgers, and you're looking at the Red Sox not winning anything since getting rid of them. And we'll see if the same thing happens with Devers in San Francisco. Probably not when it comes to winning a ring, but the Giants decide to be aggressive with Posey in the front office. They went for it. I respect the swing. Are they good enough to actually make some noise? We don't know. But the Giants have been performing pretty well this season. Want an extra power bat. I respect it, and we'll see how Devers does in San Francisco. But for the move itself, it feels like there is a bit of, I'd say, context that I have to add to it, which Insano's mentioning, which is what happens when Chapman comes back. My immediate takeaway from the trade is that Chapman's injury is a lot more serious than people think, and they already said Chapman's not coming back anytime soon. He might be out for the season. We'll see what happens with Chapman, but the point is Devers, the fact that they traded for a third baseman when Chapman is an elite fielding third baseman, tells me he might be out for a while. So we'll see what happens with Chapman with the injury moving forward. It might be an issue for San Francisco, potentially, if they want Devers to change positions again. We'll see what happens when Chapman comes back. Until then, Devers probably does play third base, but it might be an issue. We'll see. At the end of the day, the Giants sacrificed it, and they were willing to deal with the potential drama in the field to pick up the Devers power bat. But at first glance, it feels like a massive, I'd say, trade for Boston to agree to actually do after sweeping your arch rival and looking pretty decent and being on the cusp of a playoff spot. They're in the wild card hunt right now. It feels like a pretty weird time period to do this trade, but the Red Sox still had some, I guess, bitter feelings towards the fielding situation in the offseason, decided not to pay him the rest of the money he's owed, and now the Giants are going to do that. So we'll see what happens, but I thought the trade was very weak in favor of return for Boston. For the Giants, good for them. You know, they always strike out in free agency. They decided to make it a bit more. They decided to make a push, and I respect them for trying it. Posey's willing to actually spend some money, and I respect, once again, the effort. Will it pay off? We don't know, but I respect the Giants for swinging. The Red Sox, though, they have been willing to trade off star players for years, and it feels like they're doing the same thing again here, so nothing too shocking, but it seems like Boston might be, I don't want to say punting on the regular season, but it feels like Boston is just not willing to go all in, and they've been more willing to sell, which has been a pretty, I'd say, sizable deviation from what they have done in years past. So keep that in mind, but either way, point is a pretty big trade happened on Sunday. Wanted to mention it. Time to move on into the props for the Monday card. Before we get into the actual props for Monday, a reminder that the college football team previews are back on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network with the college experience. Kobe and Mac are back previewing every FBS college football team, so don't miss it. Check out the college experience for previews on every single college football FBS team. Plus, a reminder that you can also find the sponsors for the network, which are still around. Go to Edge Boost, because the first ever bank for bettors, ensuring that all your gambling transactions are approved. No use fees and limits. Get cash rewards well, 100% approval. For all deposits on today, Edge.Beppercode when we sign up, we get a free Rose Terrors t-shirt. Claim your free shirt at sportsgambling.com/refs. We're also brought to you by Circa, because Circa is still hosting the Ultimate Fantasy Football Experience for a 12-person league to draft some days with trivia VPs for the step. Get a limo ride from the airport, a 5K tab for stadium swim, and a hotel stay for you and your 11 league mates. Also, get 15% off all Circa properties with promo code SGP15. Enter the contest free at sportsgambling.com/Circa, sportsgambling.com/CIRCA. Welcome back, everyone, to the MLB Gambling Podcast. Finished going through the Devers trade recap. Time to move on to the props for the Monday card. Starting off with my first prop for the card, going to go to a matchup between the Yankees, actually, and the Angels. Give me Ben Rice under half a run scored at -130. He's been really bad lately. He has scored no runs in 6 straight. He's had no runs in 15 of his last 19 home games. He got benched yesterday because he was too busy, I'd say, lollygagging off of second base, and he got picked off, and they benched him for the rest of the game. So we'll see what happens with Rice in this game. Point is, though, the Yankees have been in really bad form lately, as they have scored 5 runs in their last 4 games combined. They've gone ice cold. He's also been really bad at home. His home splits are significantly worse than his road splits, and the fact that he's had no runs scored in 15 of his last 19 home games is pretty alarming. Soriano is pitching for the Angels who has been a lot better on the road this season. He has a 3.19 ERA on the road. I think he's fine, tends to go distance as well, but Rice, simply put, has been pretty underwhelming at Yankee Stadium, and the fact is he's not really hitting that well. The base running has not been good, as we saw yesterday, and he got benched for it. I think Rice, once again, is a guy who is viewed highly because of his early season production and the fact that he bats in the top of the Yankees order. But the offense has fallen apart lately, and I think minus 130 is a pretty good price. Give me the Ben Rice under half a run scored play here at minus 130 as my first prop for the show. For Adam's first prop on the show, he's going to be going with Cease. He'll be backing him. He'll be going with the over 16.5 outs at minus 115. So Cease was actually really good against the Dodgers when they faced off about a week and a half ago or so, as he ended up going 7 innings, giving up no runs. But the fact is he was in form last time out. For Cease as well, want to point out the Padres yesterday actually won a game. Good for them. Pivetta was pretty good, but it's mostly based on his numbers recently and the fact that Cease has actually been going okay. He was very good against the Dodgers last time out, and you're looking at him once again being a pretty maybe underrated option, at least based on the outs for his prop here. But Adam liked it at around 16.5, and the fact is he did just shut down this exact offense about a week ago. So I do think you're looking at a spot where Cease could go some distance. 16.5, though, at minus 115 is really not a lot when you factor in how many pitches Cease usually throws in his outings. He has thrown at least 92 pitches in five of his last 6 starts. So that he does tend to go a bit of distance here based on the pitch count. So Adam's first play will be Dylan Cease over on his 16.5 outs at minus 115 against the Dodgers. Moving on to my second prop for the show. I'm going to go with a prop in the Red Sox and Mariners game. And I am going to go with the youngster. I'm going to go with Roman Anthony. Give me the under half a hit at even money. Anthony has been quite bad so far in his MLB career. He had one solid game with multiple hits. Besides that, he's done nothing. He's had 0 hits in 5 of his first 6 MLB games. You have Gilbert back on the mound for Seattle after an injury stint, who's been pretty good this season, limited action. 30 and a third innings pitched, 18 hits allowed. Gilbert is a very good pitcher. And the fact is, even with a potential, I'd say, pitch count for this matchup, Anthony has just not really done enough to warrant being even money for no hits when he's had no hits in 5 of the first 6 games. Now he's on the road, first ever road game that he's actually been in as an MLB player. Every game was in Fenway. I think it's a good spot to fade Anthony. I do think he might get more playing time with Devers now being on the shelf or being on a different roster. You might see him play a bit more as the Red Sox might embrace a bit of a youth movement moving forward. We'll see what they do, but the point is Anthony has not really done much in his pro career. Gilbert is a very solid pitcher when he's on, and Seattle knows a pretty pitcher-friendly ballpark. But I think Anthony, at even money for no hits, is a pretty good option here. You could argue that Gilbert might be a bit rusty in his first start back. He was very good in his rehab start. I believe he went 5 scoreless in his last rehab start. I think he'll go fine here, but Anthony, at even money to not record a hit, I think does have some value. I'll take that as my second play for the show. Moving on to the second play that Adam has for the podcast. He's going to fade Alcantara. He'll be going with Alcantara under 17.5 outs at plus 110. Now, Sandy has been going a bit better lately, but I do want to point out he has been really bad against the Phillies over the years. So Alcantara has actually gone 6 innings in 2 straight, but against the Phillies, it has been rather ugly for him. Phillies active batters, have seen him a lot. They have a total of 233 plate appearances against him. They have a 306 batting average and a 348 on base. Philly has tended to destroy him in years past. Faced off against them earlier this season, back in mid-April. 2 innings, 6 earned runs. So he faced off against them this season. It did not go well. They've owned him historically speaking. And Philly's offense did wake up over the weekend as they scored 8+ runs in 2 of the 3 games against Toronto. But Philly has been performing pretty well recently. You're looking at them scoring 7+ runs in 3 of the last 4. Alcantara might get into trouble in this outing. You're looking at a spot where the Phillies have owned him historically. They've seen him a lot. The offense is in good form again. And Sandy might end up dealing with a bunch of guys who have, historically speaking, torched him. And I think he might struggle in this outing. So even though Alcantara has been going better recently, it is plus money, taking the under on his out to 17.5. And historically, he has been really bad against this team. So I do like the plus money. He'll be going with Sandy under on his outs at 17.5 at plus 110 as a second play for the show. Now, for my third play on the show, I'm going to be going with the same game between the Red Sox and the Mariners, but I am going to go with Gilbert in particular. Give me the Gilbert strikeout prop. I'll go with the over 6.5 strikeouts at minus 110. It was plus 115 last night. I still like it at minus 110. He's had at least 7 strikeouts in 6 of his last 7 starts, and the Red Sox have been striking out a ton so far this season. Red Sox are averaging 9.25 strikeouts per game, which does rank third most in the league. Now, Devers is not there anymore, which has been a pretty solid strikeout source over the course of the season, but Gilbert we know is very good. He might have a pitch count in this game. Should be around 80-something pitches, though, because he was going decent length in the minors. But the point is the Red Sox strike out a lot. Gilbert, I think, is a solid pitcher. And even in that series against the Yankees, while they did end up winning all 3 games, they struck out a lot. So I do think you're looking at a spot where the Red Sox might potentially win this game. Who knows? But I do think the strikeouts are a bit alarming. Struck out 11 times against the Yankees on Sunday. The previous game on Saturday did strike out a total of only 5 times. Did a good job in that game. But for the first game of the series, pulling it up right now, the Red Sox struck out 9 times. So you're looking at a Red Sox team that has been striking out a decent amount recently. Gilbert is a good strikeout pitcher, and I do think the Red Sox might struggle on the road here in this matchup. Boston this season is right now over 500, mainly because of a good home record. On the road, they are 15-19, significantly worse on the road. I think they'll struggle against Gilbert here. Give me the Gilbert over on his strikeouts at 6.5 at minus 110 is my third and final prop for the show. Now, for Adam's final prop on the show, he is going to be going with a couple of props here. Starting off with the strikeout prop that he has. He went for a combined strikeout prop. He has Alcantara and Abel to combine for 11 strikeouts at plus 145. So he likes it, even though Sandy's distance might be in question for this outing, because Philly has kind of owned him. Sandy's strikeout stuff is still solid, and he has been striking out some guys recently. Had 6 in the last start against the Pirates. For reference, point is, though, Abel, besides the last start, has actually been pretty good so far this season, and you're looking at the Marlins, who are not a good offense, we know this, but you're looking at a pretty low number for 2 pitchers that can go some distance in theory. You're looking at the Marlins, who do strike out a lot. Going through the numbers this season, the Marlins are currently averaging, pulling it up right now, they're averaging over 8 strikeouts per game. You're looking at Philly, who's around there as well, but he thinks the number's a bit low for 2 pitchers who can go some distance here. He's going to be going with the over 10.5 combined strikeouts between Sandy and Abel at plus 145 to win a unit. So that's going to be his third and final prop for the show. But as always, he does have his double play props for the show. So for Adam's double play props, which he texted me, he has a 2-pick parlay, and he also has a single team to record a double play. So he has the Angels turn a double play with Soriano on the mound, and he has the Nationals turn a double play, and that 2-pick does pay out at plus 198. The Angels, self-explanatory, you're looking at Soriano, who has one of the highest ground ball rates in the entire league. The Yankees do hit into a lot of double plays. It's a good matchup there. For the Nationals, looking at that matchup, they are taking on, pulling it up right now. They are going to be taking on the Rockies, who are a team that we know stinks. But Irvin does give up some contact. The Rockies have been a mess all season, but the double play could have some potential with Irvin being a solid contact pitcher, so I'll go with that as well. So it's going to be his 2-pick, once again, double play parlay at plus 198 to win a unit. And for the standalone, he's going to be using the Rays at plus 110. We ended up having the Rays actually yesterday against the Mets. That ended up cashing late. Shout out to Alonso. Plus 110, though, for an elite team at forcing double plays. Do think the Rays have value there at plus 110. So he'll be going with the Rays to force a double play at plus 110 as well for the show. I know it's going to wrap it up for the actual props that we have for the show. Now it's time to move on into the best bet segment. I'll ask Adam right now, actually, what his best bet is through text message, just because I am doing the show right now. So out of curiosity, let me know what all of you guys are playing in the comment section. I know the flow might not be as good as usual because Adam's not here, so I'm talking to myself at the moment. I see some people in the comment section, though. Usual suspects here. I do see Helms. I see Ellie. I see Trevor. See a bunch of guys here. I do want to point out, once again, that we will be doing the show anyway, with Adam not on the podcast for today and for Wednesday, but I'll be back on a Friday, so keep that in mind. Yes, Helms, I'm upset too. I wish Victor Scott was playing, but he is not. So we're going to have to move on and try to find other guys potentially fade. Point is, though, for the actual props, going to wrap it up. Now it's time for the best bets. Before we get into the actual best bets, a reminder that we are brought to you by our sponsor, Arnold Fantasy, because they're going on for the finals with their extender bonus. Hop in game one. When the series goes, the bigger the bonus gets. When you sign up, though, use the promo code MLB SGPN. Get a special pick and a first-time visit offer up to $1K in bonus cash. And that's your promo code MLB SGPN. We're also brought by Rhythm because Rhythm just dropped a brand new feature. They have power trends. They are added to take the patterns. Rhythm has the model to consistently win, have a high ROI. They also are updated every day. Exclusive to Rhythm, no touts or noise, just clean data back picks. Download the app, check out power trends, start betting smarter. And a reminder, you can also try it for free for a week by using the 7-day free trial. Go to sportsgamble.com's Rhythm to get your 7-day free trial. We're also brought to you by MyBookie, because MyBookie's place for every sport. They have the NBA Finals, they have the Stanley Cup, they have baseball, they have UFC, you name it, they're also available in the top locations. Use crypto for letting payouts. Use deposit something for your account. Use the code SGPN to get a 100% deposit match up to $1K. Terms and conditions MyBookie promo code SGPN. Welcome back, everyone, to the MLB Gambling Podcast. Finished going through the actual props for the show. Now it's time for the best bet segment. For my best bet, I'm going to go with Roman Anthony. I'm going to fade the youngster who has not been very good so far in his young career. Gilbert, I think, is solid. It's his first ever road game as a Major League Baseball player. He has no hits in 5 or 6 career games up to this point. I think you're looking at Anthony, who's priced, in my opinion, at a number that's too good to pass up on. Give me Anthony under half a hit. Maybe he gets pinch hit for in this game at even money as my best bet. For Adam, I did text him. He got back to me. His best bet is actually going to be a double down on one of my props. He likes Gilbert on the strikeouts. Now, overnight it was better. He got plus 115. He still likes it at the current number, but his best prop is, or his favorite prop is actually Gilbert as well for his over strikeouts. Good matchup. Red Sox strike out a lot. Think that he's going to be striking out a decent amount of guys. So for the actual best bet for Adam, he'll be going with Gilbert over on his 5.5 strikeouts at around minus 110. But either way, a point is that's going to wrap it up for the actual props on the show. For the underdog entry, truth, it's not really the same with Adam not being here. So I don't know if I should actually do one anyway. But you know what? I'll do one for the hell of it. So let me just see what I can get here for underdog. So just give me a second there. So for underdog, I might be doing this pretty quickly because I'm not really here with Adam to bounce ideas off each other. But for the actual options for underdog, I think I will be going with Anthony again. For this one, I do think that his bases have some value at minus 106 on underdog, so I'll go with that as my first choice. Give me Roman Anthony lower on his bases at a half at minus 106. I'll throw that in with who do I want to go against for this one? You know what? I'll actually go against Alcantara as well, but I'll avoid the outs. Instead, I'll go with the earned runs, because if he's going to go under his outs prop, he's giving up a bunch of runs as far as I'm concerned. So give me Alcantara higher on the 2.5 earned runs. I think it's a good price. We saw Philly score 6 against them earlier this season. I think 2.5 is a number that's a bit too low, and I think the value's there. Give me Alcantara on the higher 2.5 earned runs as well. And for the last option for the show, I see somebody in the comment section. I see Trevor mentioning Machado bases, which I don't actually mind. By the way, I see a question about Ohtani starting. I'll get back to that in a second. You know what? I think I'll back Machado as well. I don't mind Machado for his hits, runs, and RBIs at 1.5. He's been good lately. He has gone over this number in 8 of the last 10. Been good against the Dodgers as well. He has gone over this number in 6 of the last 9 against the Dodgers. I don't mind it. Ohtani starting. Do I trust him to go much distance? Not at all. Might go 1 inning. They're using an opener. They might end up kind of bouncing some stuff around. Machado's been good. Think he should have looked sharp into this matchup against the Dodgers last week. He was fine. He had 3 HRR in the first meeting, did nothing the other 2 games, but I think it's a good spot for him to tee off on what could be a bullpen game for the Dodgers. So I don't mind Machado on his 1.5 HRR. So I'll go with that as well, unless I find something better that I want to potentially go against here. Does Ohtani have any actual props listed for his pitching? I doubt it. I see walks available. I don't see much else. I think he might walk somebody, but I don't actually trust anything with that. So instead, I'll just back Machado for the HRR here as my final choice for the entry. So once again, my 3-pick underdog entry is going to be, apologies that Adam's not here to find some potential plus TV props. I'll go with Anthony on his lower 1.5. I'll go with Anthony lower half a base. I'll go with the, once again, Machado, higher 1.5 HRR, and I'll go with Alcantara, higher 2.5 earned runs as my 3-pick underdog entry. Now, to answer the question from Ellie, asking about Ohtani, do I care much about him starting? Not really. He should go 1 inning. Will he look good? I don't know. I understand you're paying him a ton of money, and because of that, you want him to give you some value as a hitter and a pitcher. I just don't see the upside of bringing Ohtani back as a pitcher. He has injury issues, and he has not been as effective as a pitcher in the grand scheme of his career as you might think. He had a couple of solid seasons, and not really anything that was sustainable long term, as far as I'm concerned. Ohtani, though, has consistently gotten hurt, and the fact is, you're putting a guy with some injury history back in harm's way when he's batting around 300 with 25 home runs. He's a phenomenal hitter. You won a ring with him last year. I just don't see the upside of using him as a pitcher. So far in his career, he's not pitched since 2023. He was very good his last season, as he ended up having a 3.14 ERA in 23 starts. But the problem is the injuries are always there, and you kind of want to throw your best player back into the fire, hoping he stays healthy, which I'm just not into. So if you want to use him as a closer, or maybe as a one-inning guy, maybe. But do I agree with using him as a starter? Not really. The counterpoint is the entire rotation died, so you need some arms. I guess I can understand that, but the fact is you're taking your best player, the best hitter in the league, or one of the best hitters in the league, and you're giving him extra possibilities of getting injured. I'm not really a fan of the move. Do I think he'll look sharp against San Diego? No, I don't. He hasn't pitched in 2 years. So I'm not really sold on Ohtani. I think he might struggle in this outing. Don't mind his under on some props if they are posted. But once again, not really interested in backing Ohtani. Should be there for 1 inning. As far as I'm concerned, maybe 2 if he cruises through the first inning, which I don't see happening. So I'm not really interested in Ohtani, backing him in this spot. I'll wait to see how he looks as a pitcher. I am pessimistic for the sake of his performance today. Anyways, going to wrap it up for the actual show. That, once again, is going to do it for the podcast. We'll back for the afternoon episode later on at around 5 p.m. If you want some breakdowns on the Tuesday games, I'll be back for the prop show on Wednesday solo. Until next time, find me on Twitter, Reichel Radio. Find Adam on Twitter, Hey Rosenberg. And until next time, good luck to all of you and all of your